So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 of the 2021 UK Drift Championship. We are here at Loch Ellie Driftland for our Pro 2 competition. My name is Ian Waddington, and once again I'm joined in the commentary tower by my very good friend with a sore throat, Paul Mott. Paul, welcome to the tower.
Thank you very much, and my first time at Driftland.
First time?
First time, never been in all of the years that I was involved in drifting up until recently coming back to what is the UKDC. It's the first time I've ever visited Driftland. And it's been interesting to see some of these drivers, especially with that wall there. You know, walls are a bit of a strange thing. Some drivers love them and the excitement, others hate them. You know, the potential of that damage that can cause the car. But what a nice little setup we've got here. And it's an interesting circuit with camber and up and down. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to today.
You've been listening to me. You've been listening to what I've been saying earlier, you know, about the changes in camber and the elevation changes. And yeah, big concrete wall, immovable because it's there. It lives there forever. And yeah, look, risk reward, like you said, a lot of people like the wall, a lot of people don't like the wall. We've got clipping point 1 and 6 on the wall. So judges want you to get up close and personal as a driver. We've seen a few guys get pretty close in practice. No damage yet, though. No, we've been so lucky so far that no one's gone into the wall, but some of them have maybe misjudged the entry a little bit and gone into the bank that's just past it during practice. But you know what? That's because these guys are on it and they're pushing it because they all want to be up there. You know, round 1 was great. We had a few surprises with little Harry Archer, you know, the David v Goliath kind of scenario, but he struggled a little bit out there today. Yeah, he did. Well, we started the day with a very, very wet track. It was drizzling this morning. We got here early, 7 a.m, and it was drizzling at the circuit, and it was absolutely soaked for the first guys out on track. But as we've moved through practice, it started to get drier, started to get that dry line when they were practicing their qualifying lines. And then we sent them out in pairs for their twinning practice for battles later on, top 32 at 3 o'clock this afternoon. The track started to dry. Then it got to that horrible point of the day that no driver likes, and that's the patchy bit where there was a dry line onto the wall and around clipping point 1 to 2. Then it, you know, from then there was patches of wet circuit, patches of dry circuit. So it's very, very hard to balance the car here and there. And we see a lot of spins and a lot of guys in the gravel, as you said, Marty.
We did, and what's interesting with what you were saying there as well, Ian, is the drivers who have been out there practicing in the wet, when the surface changes like it does and it becomes kind of drier and, like you say, those patches, they've practiced all morning under wet conditions. Now they've got to try and qualify in the dry, and it's very difficult sometimes to adapt.
It certainly has, and there's a little bit of a breeze. The wind's picked up. The clouds are still hanging dangerously in the sky, threatening to rain, but we've been promised by the locals that there's going to be no more rain today. Tomorrow's going to be glorious sunshine. We'll be in our shorts, T-shirt, sunglasses. But the wind has dried the track even more, and a lot of drivers saying, yeah, look, they set their cars up for the patchy and the wet conditions earlier on, but now when they come out for qualifying, it's going to be a completely different ballgame. So they have to relearn that circuit. Look, I took the opportunity earlier, Marty, while you was feet up in the commentary tower, drinking your Cavonia, eating your Hall's menthol throat lozenges, and I went out onto the circuit with our cameraman and I stuck the microphone in a few of these guys' cars that were struggling, especially Harry Archer, and I got a word with them how they felt nervously sitting on the track. Let's take a look at what went on earlier today. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Round 2 of the 2021 UK Drift Championship is upon us, and today is our Pro 2 competition. As you can see behind us and around us, our Pro 2 drivers getting ready for practice. The tyre warming up area just over there. We can see some of these guys. They're doing single runs at the moment, just trying to adapt to the track. As you can see, a damp, dark, grey Driftland. But we've been promised sunshine this afternoon, so this is going to be very testing for our Pro 2 drivers. Not only have they now got to try and adjust and learn the qualifying line in practice when it's damp, but when it heads to qualifying, will it be dry? Who knows? Let's have a chat to some of these guys, see how they're feeling ahead of qualifying. The first person I want to grab is Harry Archer, our round 1 winner. And here he is, looking cool, calm and collected in his MX-5. Harry, you were the round 1 winner. How are you feeling today? It's very difficult. We've seen you've had a few spins out there.
Struggling a lot. I went out the first time on road tyres and I came straight in the pits and I was like, I need more grip now. It's horrendous.
Well, look, they're saying it's going to be dry this afternoon, so I was just explaining, you've got to learn the line now while it's damp, but then be prepared for grippier conditions later on.
It's definitely going to be a challenge today, a lot harder than round one, I reckon. But
Well, there we go. A man that won round one, but not looking too confident now. We wish you all the best of luck, dude. Have fun. There we go. Look, he won round one, but saying it's tricky out there. Anthony Cletus, that man has always got something to say. Let's grab a word of Anthony. Mr. Anthony Cletus, you are the most confident driver in our Pro 2 grid, hands down. There's no denying it. You are Mr. Confidence, but you look a little bit shaky on the ropes right now.
I hate the wet weather. I haven't had much practice in the wet. Confidence, I wouldn't say that. I'd say more gobby. I like giving the banner and I love seeing the laughs and jokes on Facebook. So, but yeah, today we're just going to go for it and push hard and get to the podium.
Well, look, you're already looking for a podium. You think you got it in you?
Yeah, we just got to hunt down all the big name drivers, didn't we? So that's who I want to play with, so let's get there.
Well, look, we wish you all the best of luck, dude. Have fun, take it easy. Look, confidence, you know, it is oozing. Look, First Start Garage teammate Paul Howell, I want to have a word of him. Supercharged, E36 Touring, he's been firing this car in. He's on the radio to the spotters already. You are looking very good at the moment.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Not as confident as Anthony Cletus. He said he's already hunting a podium.
Is he?
I think you're just happy to get through qualifying and into some battles this weekend.
Absolutely, yeah. We struggled with grip yesterday afternoon. Well, we dialed in a load more grip, and I was just getting used to that. So actually, it's a bit more grippy than it was. I think that's really helping with the rain.
You've got the initiation that the judges were talking about in the briefing earlier on. They were saying fast, snappy, carry that speed down the wall. It looks like you've got it dialed. Confidence, you feeling all right? You feeling a little bit shaky? I'm just asking some of the other drivers. I'm saying it's going to get dry this afternoon, fingers crossed.
Yeah. No, at the moment I'm confident. Now I've done a few runs with the wet and I'm feeling how it is. Yeah, I'm a lot more confident than I was, so yeah.
Well, there we go. Good luck, dude. Take it easy. Look, drivers getting there, you know, they're starting to feel it. I'm going to have a quick word with Harry Hudson. Harry Hudson, it's safe to say this isn't looking too promising at the moment. I don't want to rock your boat or anything, but you're struggling.
Yeah, super struggling. Got the 15s with road tyres on. There's just no grip out there at all.
No.
Really struggling getting into clip 1 to 2. Obviously, you've got to commit, send it, but there's just no grip out there at all. It's like hitting a big slab of ice, and yeah.
Do you think you're going to find some grip out there before the end of practice?
Try down at 12 psi at the minute. Like I say, running road tyres, got no semi-slick, so just doing what we can. Yesterday in practice we was doing pretty well, but that was in the dry, so I'm hoping it starts to clear up. We can well find a miracle really. It's hard.
Very hard. We wish you all the best of luck, dude. Have fun. There we go. Driver's saying it's hard. It's not looking too easy. We're going to move away from the gridding lane. As you can see in the background, Ames Hill and the Farstar R34 Nissan Skyline looking good. Finn Wells in that Outlaw Engineering 350Z just behind her, looking strong. Aaron Grantham in that E36 Kings BMW, another driver looking strong. It's going to be a tough weekend for our Pro 2 drivers. Can the weather stay like it is? Is it going to change? Is it going to tip down with rain? Who knows? All I know is I'm going to head to the commentary tower to meet up with my co-commentator Paul Mott, fire off qualifying. Are you ready? Because I am. Let's kick off qualifying here at round 2 of the 2021 UK Drift Championship.
We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
horsepower, less wear, better performance. Introducing new GP1 high-performance driven racing oil, developed specifically for competition, classic, and import vehicle applications.
So there we go, Paul. That was the feeling out on the grid earlier on today. And just after that, a quick word from our sponsors who, without them, none of this would be possible. And as you can see, right now, guys down on the grid waiting for their first qualifying runs. Reversed order today. Finn Wells will be up first for qualifying. A nervous young man in a brand new car, brand new championship. But before we send the first car, before we send the first man off the line for qualifying, let's show you guys exactly at home what we're looking for. Now, thanks to the guys at the VDC, the Virtual Drift Championship, they put together a virtual run here at Driftland. It's the perfect qualifying run that our judges were looking for. All the clipping points on the perfect line, the snappy, fast initiation. And I'm going to talk you through it. As soon as that pops up on our screen, we'll go through it and we'll show you exactly what that 100-point qualifying run looks like, Paul. So here we go, off the start line, down the back end of the grid, through the gears, first, second, third, fourth, nice little faint initiation, snappy, up onto the wall, full throttle all the way to outside zone 2, full throttle again as you come down the hill, very damp down outside zone 3, got to be careful, full throttle once again all the way onto 4, and then this transition left a little bit open to the drivers to decide when they want to time it, but don't get yourself caught up on the inside as a chase driver. Full throttle once again, mid-track, angle onto the wall. The judges didn't want to see the angle get shallowed out, didn't want to see you go across that last clipping point or across the finish line straight. You have to get that mid-track, 3/4 of the track on that last turn, and then away we go. As easy as that, Paul, as easy as that. It's always that easy. But is it in reality for these guys sitting on the line? I can see Finn Wells, I can see Adam Galt, I can see Anthony Cletus, I can see Aaron Grantham, third place at the first round of the championship at Three Sisters Race Circuit in Wigan. He looks like a strong contender because Harry Archer, he doesn't feel confident today. But will he fit into the groove? That's what happened at round 1. He fell into that spot, he got into the movement and he knew what he was doing. And before we knew it, he was standing on the top step of the podium and he was a happy man.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think that obviously for these drivers, they've got to qualify first and obviously get themselves a place in there. But when it comes to the twin battles, things can get changed up a little bit. And I think that's where Harry Archer really fell into his own. A bit of a slower vehicle in the MX-5. It meant that he was slowing them down in the twin battles. But straight into the first judged run. Yeah,
first judged run, and up comes a very anxious and a very nervous Finn Wells. You can see that car struggling for a little bit of power this weekend. Spoke to the father a few weeks ago and he said we need to upgrade some power in this car. We thought that a 350Z with that V6, that 3.5 litre V6 under the bonnet would be more than enough, but we came to round 1 and we quickly understood how demanding this sport is and what was required to be at the top of your game. As he makes his way to the wall, you can see our wall cameras there focusing down on the outside zone, and Finn Wells there puts the first qualifying run of the day in the bag, Motty. There we go. Nerves done for Finn Wells.
Absolutely, and just touching on what you said there, you know, some of these drivers have built these cars over years and years and years, and coming into the championship and trying to find your feet, yeah, maybe, you know, a few adjustments, but certainly a talented driver and definitely one to watch throughout the season.
So we wait for our judges' scores to drop in.
Scores on the doors, and I just absolutely love it. You can just see a little drone there.
You're obsessed with that drone there. So we'll come back to the score there for Finn Wells. Off the line is Adam Galt. Adam Galt in this incredible PS13, big clutch kick there from Adam Galt as he looks to go wide, looks for that outside zone and doesn't, falls early on the inside of the circuit. Wheels on that painted curb there is not where we wanted to see these guys. We want to see them a little bit further out away on a cleaner line to outside zone 3. Transition back for Adam Galt as he now hammers down, looking for the wall. Look at that, quite a nice line, but once again just struggled to pull the car to the wall. I'm being critical because I want these guys to be on the top of their game. This is not an easy task.
No, and earlier today during practice, some of the drivers were popping up to try and sort of get a few tips from the judges, and it's very difficult to get from that first clipping zone. You have to transition with enough speed to make it to clip 2. If you don't, you're not going to line yourself up for clip 3 and the remaining of the track and the circuit. The judges were saying that they wanted just a slight difference on the entry to be able to do that.
So a quick update from our judges on the scores. Finn Wells scored a 0 on his first qualifying run, and Adam Galt got a a 50.3. So there we go. We move it back to the line to Mr. Confident, or Gobby, as he liked to call himself earlier. It is, of course, Anthony Cletus. Anthony Cletus now sits on the line, that first start garage BMW E46 Compact. Supercharged V8 under the bonnet. Plenty of power. He shouldn't struggle, should he?
Well, no, we shouldn't. But we were having a conversation earlier on today, and he was adapting to the changes in the track surface. But clip 1, and is he making clip 2? He's just a little bit inside, but he gives him that power that he needs now to push up to perfect on clip 3. That was nice. Makes his way to clip 4, follows it round to clip 5. Just, backs out.
Starts to fall apart a little bit there, the car can hear it. Developed a massive misfire, straightened, and he's going to straighten across the line. Looks promising for Cletus.
Down heavily.
It looks like the team there, and I'm getting the signal from the judges. It will be a 0, so a 0 there for Anthony Cletus. Work for the team to be done there. And you know what's so promising? It looks very, very good. We move it back to the start line to Aaron Grantham.
Yeah, one to watch this weekend, I think. Aaron certainly been on point during practice earlier this morning.
Yeah, he gelled to the wet conditions 110%, got on that qualifying line, absolutely flying, was one of the most consistent drivers out there. Can he do it in the dry? Very fast initiation, but struggled to get that car sideways. Looks like he's gripped it up miles too much, and look at this. Too much grip in the car, still that car set up for the wet conditions, and now he struggles to get out to outside zone 2 and 3, and that's going to make this part of the circuit very, very difficult. Of course, the line set out by our judges this weekend, and our judges for the rest of the season will be Rich Newton, Peter Nielsen, and a big spin across the line for Aaron Grantham. It was across the line.
Well, he had a moment there at the end, but thankfully kept it out of the wall. But it was over the line, I think, at that point. So once you're over that white line that's defined over the track, it won't be classed as a 0. It will still be a completed run. So I think he's just managed to get that, but very difficult. Like, that entry's got to be done so right to get to clip 2, and obviously the changing conditions since this morning is now catching a few of these drivers out.
Certainly has. Well, he does get a score on the board. It will be a 28.3 for Aaron Grantham, and then we move it along to his teammate, David Madge. Yeah, looks like he needs to just go back, a little bit more tyre pressure, adjust the rear shocks and get himself back in the groove. What can David Madge do? Very nice initiation up into the wall. Goes David Madge, look at that, nice and wide. But just still not wide enough. Just goes to show you how far out and how further round the circuit our judges have put that outside zone. And wow, another 0. 2 wheels off circuit this weekend, as most of the events we are running will be a 0. So it will be a 0 there for David Madge. And the E36 Kings team, they're going to go back to the pits now, and they're going to have to re-evaluate the situation, think about what they're doing, try and get those cars to work.
It absolutely fascinates me in how it can make such a difference, the conditions having changed. These drivers, they're actually effectively going into qualification blind now with no experience.
100%. And that was one of the things that everyone was talking about. They were saying, we don't know what the track's going to be like when it's dry. And now, as we can see, it is completely dry. So Ames Hill now sits on the start line in her incredible fast star R34 Nissan Skyline. She gets a signal from our start line man Dale down there. Through the chicane she goes.
Need full commitment now into this first corner to get it to clip 2.
Yeah, and I think Ames is going to be a little bit more confident now in the dry than what she was in the wet earlier. And look at this, absolutely nails it outside zone. 3/4 of the track is what the judges want to see. She goes wide. You can see the camber and how much that track completely dips down towards that gravel. Ames Hill, though, manages to keep in it. Not sure if that was 1 or 2 wheels for Ames Hill off the circuit there. I'm sure our eagle-eyed judges, Richard, James and Peden, would have seen that, and they'll know. They'll know exactly what the score will be.
But the correct level of commitment into clip 1 there on entry to be able to make it to clip 2. It worked, but like you say, you're carrying so much more speed than you were doing in the wet, where it would slide itself naturally to clip 3.
Now you're going in a lot faster. So it is a 0. A 0 for Ames Hill there, and that 2 wheels off circuit. Again, harsh, cruel mistress is Driftland. As we move back to the start line is Tony Morgan in his 1UZ powered S13. Screaming through the gears comes Tony Morgan. And again, another driver looking like they're changing their style, trying to adapt to the track conditions. And yeah, look, you could just see, but it's very dry at outside zone 3, where a lot of people were slowing down and using the handbrake. So that part of the circuit has dried. It's where people are off throttle on that change of camber that's making them wash in towards the gravel.
Yeah, and talking to Anthony Cletus before, you mentioned it, he was explaining for him as a driver how there was patchy parts of the circuit through that sort of middle section of the track, so where it was a bit different and the grip just wasn't really there. So 1 minute you were sliding around on some damp, and then next minute you were trying to use all the power that you had in the vehicle to keep the momentum going and the drift continuing around that circuit. So yeah, it's tough, challenging conditions out there today.
It is very tough, challenging conditions, just trying to get the scores from our judges. Deliberating that one, not sure how they counted it. Was it a 0? Was it an incomplete? There was a moment of straightening there from Tony Morgan on outside zone 3. So they were just having a word with that one, waiting for the average to drop in.
I think we'll see some of these drivers struggling on that first run, but actually, like you say, that's like a sighting lap, isn't it, really?
Exactly. So a 44.3 there for Tony Morgan. We move it back to the start line to James Cross. A 46.7, sorry, my bad. My ears are getting old.
Do we have a rubber for my pencil?
We've been downgraded to a pencil. Not allowed pens this weekend.
We're not grown up enough.
James Cross now sits on the line, this S13. And James Cross struggling quite a bit in practice, had a couple of offs, not really feeling the wet weather conditions, but a big straight, a big handbrake drag there in a straight line. Looks like the car didn't react. Looked like he went to go for a flick initiation and the car just didn't react, so he had to pull the handbrake and he's off track again. So James Cross really struggling this weekend as he's going to make his way now back to the back of the grid, and he's going to have to sit there and think about what has gone on, how he can improve, what he can do. Is there problems with that car? As we said, he's had a few offs already today. That will be a 0 for James Cross.
Yeah, a little bit of a strange run that from James, not like him, but we'll move on to Sam Simcox.
No, Sam Simcox not here this weekend, having problems with the car, so we move it along to Tom Fruin-Clark from Team Map Motorsport, E36 BMW Compact. Nice initiation from Fruin-Clark, up onto the wall he goes. Oh, but just struggles to get out wide.
Looks like the car's cut off, it's cut out.
And then, yeah, completely come to an end, and unfortunately
straight off into the pits.
That'll be the end of the run there for Tom Fruin-Clark.
Definitely some car problems there for Tom Fruin-Clark. We're going to give that one a 0.
So a 0 there for Tom Fruin-Clark. Back to the start line we go to Keelan Trevelyan, and Keelan driving quite a well-known car.
Yeah.
If you've been following drifting for a long time, you know this is a former car of Laura Hinks. So, Keelan, again, another driver really struggling. Oh, and a big four-wheel lock-up as he comes down into outside zone 3. Oh, and the second round of qualifying runs, Motti, are going to be on the edge, because there's going to be a lot of guys that need to put just a score on the board. They're going to struggle massively.
Remind me and all of those at home watching, it is just 2 qualifying runs.
Just two so qualifying runs, no practice.
This is going to be...
I think a lot of guys are going to treat this first qualifying run as a practice run, because what else can they do? They need to go out there and feel the ground. They need to feel out their scenarios. Off the line comes Stephen Lynch. Now, Stephen was absolutely flying in practice in this BMW E46. Very nice initiation from Mr. Lynch there, and you can see how wide he is as he tries to get nice and high, just sacrifices a little bit of that, gets off throttle. Now he's going to let the car wash down his outside zone 3, just about holds onto it, but he's pulled himself onto the inside of the circuit. As Stephen Lynch now foot flat to the floor through the centre of this custom circuit here in Logelli, looks for the wall, foot flat to the floor. And a lot of these guys, again, still dialing lots of grip in, still haven't made any adjustments, because they haven't been able to get out on track in the last 45, 50 minutes to see what has happened, what has changed. So,
yeah, Stephen was definitely one that was getting the attention during practice from ourselves and the judges. He was definitely fully committed throughout the morning, and again, as you saw in that run, fully committed too.
So a 59.3 there for Stephen Lynch.
59.3.
And now Will Foxwell sits on the line in this Nissan Skyline R32. He gets the thumbs up, slams the door close, slots the car into gear, almost stalls it. He manages to get it away. Will Foxwell up the hill. Tentative initiation up onto the wall. As Will Foxwell, just drops a wheel out of outside zone 2. Look at that, big flick onto outside zone 3, keeps the momentum going, back on the throttle through the centre of the circuit. Foxwell looking strong right now, hammers down,
It was looking so good between clips, sort of 3, 4 and 5.
And he's angry.
Yeah,
he is angry because he knew he had it dialed. He was almost on the right part of the circuit. He just came out of outside zone 5 with a little bit too much angle, foot flat to the floor. Tried to really build the momentum up onto 6 to the wall. Just spun it around.
But guess what? We can see smoke.
We can see smoke
out on circuit, which is telling me that the conditions are pretty much dry now.
So there we go. Will Foxwell will score a 0. Move it to Eddie Hucker. So Eddie Hucker, thumbs up. He even thumbs up the start line, man. Says, "I'm ready. I'm ready. I can see the spotters are telling me the zeros are dropping in. All I need to do is get a decent score on the board. It could be a good spot in top 32 later on. But he catches a little bit of understeer. And the car has a massive misfire. It tries to get on power. The car has a massive misfire, and you could hear it misfiring as soon as he come past the judge in the commentary tower."
These drivers struggling out there, whether it be.
And now it starts to find its feet. It's too much.
Too late.
Too late for Eddie Hucker. And that will be a 0 once again. Wow. And do you know what? At the end of practice, these guys were flying. They were on the wall. They were twinning. They were really, really, really good practice runs. And then just like that, in the blink of an eye, all changes once again. Move back to the start line. It is Carl Handley in this S14.5. And initiated way off the wall. He's going to struggle now to get onto that qualifying line. You can see wheels close to the inside painted curb. That's not where the judges want to see. And again, struggling to get to outside zone 3. He's going to really, really struggle to put a good score on the board. But at the moment, it's a battle of making it round. Can you make it round? Can you get a decent a score on the board?
And that's all that matters at the moment. Out of many cars that we've seen, out of 15 cars we've seen, currently only 5 have scores on the board. So, I mean, dare I say it, an Englishman in Scotland, if this was the Euros, we're going down to the golden goal in round 2.
Why did you mention the football?
I know, we're going to be out of it soon anyway. We've got to play Germany,
So a 28.3 there for Carl Handley, and now we go to Oliver Baker. Now, Oliver Baker, I've heard a lot of good things about this young man.
Okay.
He's been flying in practice. He looked very, very strong at round 1 of the competition. He's super committed. Very, very, very good line driver. Look at that big flank initiation. Foot flat to the floor, holds onto it. Big clutch kick. As Oliver Baker, sacrifices outside zone 2. But at the moment, as we say, this is just a war of making it round. Drops a wheel off the edge of the circuit, 2 wheels off the edge of the circuit.
He's clipping the points.
But unfortunately, those 2 wheels dropped off. Even though this was a do-or-die run for Oliver Baker.
Yeah, fully committed, though.
That is a 0. Yeah, it will be a 0. Wheels off circuit. And there's no place to be going off circuit there.
Got to keep it on track.
Well,
biggest, most important thing is keep it on the tarmac.
Sounds easier than what it is.
It does sound a lot easier than what it is. Well, we're going to see Lee Chambers. Let's see if he finds it a little bit easier than some of these drivers we've seen previously. Into the first corner a little bit. Cautious. And just gripping up there as he tries to make it around that first corner, struggling to make it to clip 2. And he's now just starting to find his drift, but is it a little bit too late? The judges are going to mark him down heavily. That first section is worth a humongous amount of points. And yeah, making it through, completing a run, but I suspect that a big straight in there, Ian, big straight in between clips 1 and 2. Just trying to find the feet, these drivers, so let's see whether the judges have a score for Lee Chambers.
Lee Chambers looking good in practice earlier on today. Felt confident. Said it was the best he's been driving for a long, long time. And
many drivers were looking good in practice. Genuinely, like it was a very impressive practice session, to be honest. And again, my first time here at Driftland, it was fascinating to see the line that the guys were taking and the commitment and the camber and the elevation and how the guys dealt with it. But yeah.
So it was a 40.3, I do believe. Just trying to get that. I kind of caught it, kind of didn't catch it. So yeah, I do believe it was around a 40.3. You're trying to catch it, like juggling. It's just like juggling here. So our drivers are in 2 groups. So, you know, because we don't want to put all of our drivers out on the circuit, make it dangerous, especially down there on the back end of 3. So Finn Wells up for his second qualifying run. As well, I think that's easier. You know, he split the grid down, 2 smaller groups. He's not so much time to sit there and wait and think about the situation. Finn Wells knows where he went wrong. Look at that, nice initiation onto the wall. Can he get out to outside zone 2? He can't. But like we said earlier on, just making it round right now will do the job. And Finn Wells gets outside zone 3, absolutely does. Starts to make some smoke off the back end of that Outlaw Engineering 350Z. Foot flat to the floor. Come on, Finn Wells. Can you make it happen?
Oh! Commentator's curse. And it was actually looking relatively decent. And unfortunately, Finn Wells, having scored a 0 on run 1, and potentially a 0 on
and a 0
2.
on run 2 as well. So. Finn Wells, double zeros, and unfortunately that is the end of the weekend for the young man. As Adam Galt now makes his way into the tyre warming area. Just a quick spin round, warm up the front tyres, get some heat into them rear ones, so you know when you flick it into that wall, everything's where it needs to be.
Yeah, you need that front end grip. So Adam's going to be on the start line, a thumbs up from Dale, our start line, Marshall, and he's off into that first corner to initiate.
Yeah, chased down by our drone pilot. Up on the banking, Adam Galt, nice flick, initiation. Got rid of those first run nerves. Adam Galt, you can see, letting the car wash to the outside zone. So a 50.3 on his last run for Adam Galt. Flicks the back end of that PS13 into outside zone 4. Looking dialed right now as Galt. Can he pull it together? Looking a strong contender for competition later on. Just sacrifices outside zone 6, but he gets it across the line.
Yeah, made it round the track. We'll have to wait and see what the judges say. So currently sat on a 50.3. Did he better that? I'm not so sure, but he gave it a fair good go. So 2 scores on the boards. Let's see what that's.
So a 40.7, he doesn't better his first score, so he stays where he is. And we move it to Anthony Cletus now. Had a little bit of a misfire in this car in his first qualifying run, and that completely threw him. Has it cleared? Did the team manage to sort it? Did he even leave the circuit? I didn't notice him go off circuit. He's coming through the gears, though, up towards that white line that denotes the beginning and the end of the scoring zone. Big catch of understeer, but he gets himself back into it. Anthony Cletus now looks for the outside zone 3, playing with the edge of the circuit, playing with danger on and off the throttle. Looks like it's holding together right now. One last turn to go for Anthony Cletus. You can hear him pulsing the throttle, that supercharger singing as he hammers down, looks for the wall, and Cletus gets a run in the bag.
Well, he needed that run, having scored a 0 on the first run. We'll wait to see what the judges scoring, but on a massively off clip too. But let's see exactly what the judges felt it was deserving of.
Yeah, I mean, he sits on a 0, so at the moment, a 28.3 will be enough to, you know, in this pack of drivers, get him a score. So we wait for the judges. They're having a little deliberation again. Maybe there was a few hiccups. So a 57 there for Anthony Cletus gets him a score on the board, and his second qualifying run.
Currently puts him into second.
Second place at the moment. Off the line comes Aaron Grantham, sitting with a 28.3.
I'm expecting big things from Aaron on this second run.
Yeah, look at this. Big commitment from Grantham as he fires the back of that BMW 2 all the way to the edge of the circuit. Grantham is storming. Grantham is an angry man right now. Look at that back end into outside zone 3, foot flat to the floor. Concentration, 110%. Just sacrifices a little bit of outside zone 4 now. As Grantham, big clutch kick in front of the judging tower, hammers down, smokes out Driftland and across the line.
Now we're talking.
And now we're starting to get it.
We're finding the groove.
We are finding the groove, and this is what we came to see from our Pro 2 competition.
Scores, judges.
That was a good score.
That was good.
So Grantham, look, went away, thought about what he had to do, cleared his mind, said, look, get yourself in the zone, just get it done. Wow, and a big score, 81.7.
81.7. That's definitely the one to beat so far. And I disagree with you. I don't think he went down there, cooled his head. I think he went down there, I was furious with himself, and I'm going to absolutely nail it.
Well, we've got some teammate rivalry right now as David Madge comes firing down. Can he better that? Oh, he sacrifices a little bit of outside zone. Well, he's got big understeer. He's in the gravel.
Oh, once it understeers there and you've got so much speed and pace, that's it. You're up the banking. He's going to drag himself out.
Yeah, he's going to be able to
take himself off into the pits with his tail between his legs. Oh, dear me. Well, he's going to have to support Aaron Grantham this weekend by the looks of things. 2 0s from both runs.
Yeah, so David Madge, unfortunately, listen, he went in there 110%. He knew what he had to do. He had to fire that car in. He would have been told by his spotters what Aaron Grantham did, and they would have said to him, you know, you need to match what he's done. Fire the car in, commitment. And it was said by our judges in the briefing this morning, commitment is key. Bring the speed, snappy initiation onto the wall, and it will flow. It will flow from 1 to 2 because it is a long way away. That outside zone is hard to get. So the incredible track staff here at Driftland are going to tow Aaron out of the gravel trap, and then we will resume our track action. It will be a 0 for David Madge. We move along to Ames Hill, who also has a 0 at the moment. And Ames Hill in that fast start R34 Nissan Skyline.
I mean, Aaron Grantham with that run then like that, that's got me excited.
Statement, that's a statement.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a statement. Listen, he came third at round 1, and he said, look, I'm coming back to Driftland, I'm going to bring the fight, I want to win the championship. Yeah. I'm not here to make up numbers. I want to be part of it. I want to be the guy. Do
you know, slow and steady sometimes wins the race, you know, you can't always be first.
No, you can't.
But if you're on the podium and you're there part of the celebrations,
well, look, if Harry Archer doesn't make the podium,
yep,
and Aaron Grantham does, and Joe Smith doesn't,
well,
we could be looking at upset in the championship right now. So there we go. The track staff here at Driftland take David Madge out of the gravel and up the escape road. And Ames Hill now begins to warm the tyres on the back of that Nissan Skyline. She pulls to the line.
Great camera shot there as the guy, as the drivers are pulling
absolutely
up to
beautiful. Yet Kane, our start line cameraman down there, getting all the glorious shots. As you can see, Ames Hill make her way through the chicane. Up towards the hill comes Ames Hill, just lifts off the throttle ever so slightly, a little bit tentative. She knows she's got a 0, so she knows what she's got to do to make it work. You can see her off the throttle, let that car wash, gets back into it with a clutch kick now, comes down the hill in to outside zone 3. Big clutch kick once again through 4. Nice transition, will set her up perfectly. Can she hold on to this one? Looking good right now for Ames Hill. Foot flat to the floor at the back of the car. Smoked out and across the line, and she'll be feeling a lot more confident now.
Exactly what Ames needed there as well. Not just for her confidence, but obviously for getting that score on the board there. We'll wait to see what the judges say, but yeah, she was committed there, and obviously much prefers the drier conditions to the wet from this morning, where I think she was struggling a little bit with that off camber.
Yeah, and that was the whole word from the whole Pro 2 paddock. They all said the wet here is dreadful, it's hard. So a 61 for Ames Hill puts her in a good position for top 32. Later on, we go back to the start line in that lock-to-lock.
This has got to be one of the loudest cars here today.
Yeah, Tony Morgan's 1UZ powered S13. Sounds like it's raining hell down on Driftland right now as he screams through the gears. Nice clutch kick initiation. Little dab of the handbrake to set himself up. Once again, another guy struggling to get out to outside zone 2. Now that's upset his line. You can see him dial on big angle. That's going to completely sacrifice outside zone 4, and he's going to have to really work now to try and claw back some of those lost points. As Tony Morgan takes it across the line, he'll be happy just to have made it round, I do believe.
Yeah,
He
so
had
he was on a 46.7
not bad score
from run 1. So, you know, if he can just better that a little bit, then happy days. You know, he's got a score from run 1, which, you know, is something to be said from the first round.
We make it sound so easy when we sit up here and talk about drifting like this.
It's really, really funny, because you have drifted, Ian.
Many moons ago. Many moons ago.
Believe it or not, I have spent a decade in the drift world and still never drifted. Got another go.
54.3 there for Tony Morgan, so he does
score.
improve, and we keep moving the action along. It will now be James Cross sitting on a 0. Yeah, look, I can't believe you still haven't driven a car after all these years. Maybe one day we'll strap you in a drift car and let you go wild somewhere.
Well,
just not my drift car.
Someone might let me if they're brave enough.
Oh, James Cross, big initiation. Looks like he's got those first qualifying nerves out of the way. Look at that car wash. That was where he had a big lock up before. Can he hold it together? Oh, he's struggling with that car massively today. You can see him in the car fighting it. Really, really struggling to make it round. As the wipers come on, he spins it, loops it back around. And unfortunately, that will be the end of the weekend there for James Cross, a 0-0. Spinning's not winning, Motty.
It is not. So James Cross becomes a spectator for the rest of the weekend. And we go to that start line now where we see Tom Fruin-Clark.
Yeah, the Map Motorsport driver, BMW E36, compact. Just looking at that front bumper, looks like a strange combination there.
Yeah,
didn't look normal. Well, the issues with that car in his first qualifying run. Hopefully the team have got it sorted. Can he make it round? Tom Fruin-Clark, another driver looking confident earlier on in practice. After a very good practice session, can he make this qualifying session work for him? You hear him on the throttle, flat to the floor, lifts ever so slightly for the transition, now back on it once again. Looks for that outside zone 6, up onto the wall he goes, on the rev limiter.
Well,
and Tom Fruin-Clark manages to scrape one into the bag.
That's it, so hopefully he's going to get a score on the board for that one, you know. Definitely needed it there. So let's see what the judges say. He was just a little bit off clip 2, but actually it wasn't a bad run.
So a 64.7 there for Tom Fruin-Clark, not too bad.
64.7.
So now Keelan Trevelyan sits on the line in this R32 4-door Nissan Skyline. RB25, I do believe, underneath the bonnet. You see the little dip at the front of the car there, where lifted off the throttle to initiate. Judges would have been paying attention to that. They wanted a nice little, flick.
Straight.
Oh, and a big straight in there.
I don't think you realise as well at home here how wide the tarmac area is between 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's huge.
We wanted to push them really far out to clip 2, but actually you see a lot of these cars moving it through the middle of the circuit. But actually, it is wide. That is massive.
It is very wide. Yeah, it's a long pull from 1 to 2. It takes a lot of power and a lot of bravery to make it happen.
Yeah, big time. Because there's not a lot of runoff after that clip.
No.
And you've got to be committed.
You've got to be 110% committed. And judges were saying this in the driver's briefing. You have to be committed. If you don't make the commitment, if you don't carry the speed onto outside zone 1, it's not going to flow. It's not going to work. And we're seeing a lot of that come through now. I just hope that the next pack of drivers, the next group of drivers that are already sitting in the lane, ready to come out to do their first and second qualifying runs, if they're watching the live stream, taking notes, listening to their spotters saying, look, you've got to throw it down. The track is really grippy now. It's dried up. You really have to be committed.
And there's some big names in that next pack to watch as well.
So that will be a double zero there for Keelan, and he will be out of competition. Oh, there we go. Some graphics up on screen. He looks like the Stig today.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to be seen by anyone. So Stephen Lynch now sits on the line, a 59 on his first qualifying run.
Yeah, so like you were saying about that new pack when it comes out, some big drivers there. Gary Mitchie and Paul Howell have both been on form today. So
they certainly have.
Let's see what
well, Stephen Lynch, though.
Commitment.
Yeah, big clutch kick initiation there from Stephen Lynch. He knows he has to go wide. Look at that, nails it outside zone. 3/4 of the way through the circuit. Looking very, very nice as he comes down or sacrifices the edge of outside zone 3. Looking very deep, almost takes down the cone. And I must say, if you do take down that clipping point, that is the outside edge of the circuit. So judges will deem that a wheel or two off track. But Stephen Lynch, though, gets it done, brings it across the line.
There was a whisper between taking that clipping point.
He was close. He was very close.
Which is what we want.
Dancing with the devil.
We want it to be close, but just not too close. So look to the judges for a score. High hope for Stephen Lynch. He's on a 59.3.
Oh, so we've got a 61. So it's a 61.3. 63.3. Oh, there we go. Scores are dropping in. So we're jumping the gun. We're getting told off. We're getting told off about being back at score again. 63.3. So there we go. Stephen Lynch scores a 63.3. We're being told to slow down, be patient,
right, okay.
be patient,
Yeah,
wait for the graphics. It's so easy because the judges and score man enterer machine is saying the scores out loud, and we're just jumping the gun. We're excited.
No respect for the team there. Is
no
there?
respect for the graphics.
How you say excited?
So Will Foxwell now comes off the line, so close to having a really, really, really good qualifying run in his first one. Just looped it around, puts himself into a spin. Now starts to think about it. He's a little bit more tentative on this run than what he was on his first qualifying run. As we say that, he goes deep into outside zone 3, looking very tidy.
And there we go. Talking about it.
We just spoke about it. We just said, don't hit the cone. Don't hit the cone.
don't hit the cone, and Will Foxwell, well, no, just demolishes it. But so a 0 from all of the judges.
And even his face in his profile picture looks disappointed. he's like, what have I done?
What have I done?
What have I done?
Oh dear, Will Foxwell 2 0s. This is tough out there today.
It's very tough, very tough. Eddie Hucker up next, scored a 0 on his first qualifying run. And this car caught a whole load of misfire as he come past the judging tower from 1 to 2. So you could hear that car misfiring, hardly any power. So Eddie Hucker, fingers crossed, maybe the car fixed itself. Maybe
through a misfire, could you give it even more commitment and make it through?
I mean, you could.
It's going to be difficult.
This is going to be very, very hard. Well, Eddie Hucker comes off the line through the gears. He goes, getting chased down by the drone. Sounds good to me at the moment. Straight line initiation from Eddie Hucker. Looks like that car's working perfectly right now. Nice and deep into outside zone 2. You can see him 3/4 of the circuit. Nice line as he comes down into 3. Look at that. Right to the edge of the circuit as he catches the rear wheel straight the way through it. Look at this. Very tidy job from Eddie Hucker right now. Big clutch kick. Oh, and he just catches understeer. Can he keep in it? Eddie Hucker. Oh, he's playing with the edge of the track. It's going to put him way off of outside zone 6. But he gets it across the line. He was way wide. It was a big clutch kick.
Yeah.
It was a big clutch kick. It kind of just pushed the front wheels on, and then you could see the car understeer and wash across the circuit.
And the commitment through like you say, the initiation and into clip 2 and clip 3 was, I mean, bang on. He was challenging Aaron Grantham to start with on that point, but just that straight in there, he's going to be marked down by the judges. But, we wait for the scores from the guys, and
no. We have to wait for the graphic. We'll get told off again.
You're being patient. You're eating a bit of chocolate. We wait for this. Judges are still deciding, so there's obviously a little bit of deliberation, I guess. They've all got an independent decision to make.
They have. They've all got their own independent, their own decision to make. Yeah, 6 pairs of eyes watching down these drivers, and everyone sees a different thing. There we go. Judges dropping their scores in. James liked it. Peden and Rich not so much. A 28 for Eddie Hucker on his second qualifying run.
Well, 28 is what he's going to need to try and get through.
That could be enough.
Yeah, it could be.
That could be enough
with what
right now to get him into competition.
All of these people in this second pack that haven't done their first or second judge run are going to be watching this.
Yes.
And they're going to be going, they know what's
the spotters will be watching
it.
The spotters will be standing along the fence here at Driftland, and they would have been saying, well, listen, let's loosen the car off a little bit. Let's just make it easy to drive because it's grippy. Kyle Handley now comes off the line. 28.3 on his first qualifying run.
Whoa, close to the wall there, Ian.
And again, another car that sounds like mechanical breakdown. As you can hear it misfiring massively through the middle of the track. And that car just not wanting to play ball right now. Kyle doing everything he can to try and make it around. And that car not sounding well whatsoever. As Kyle Handley finishes up that run, he'll be pretty upset. But will a 28.3 be the score that gets him into competition?
Well, he's going to have to hope so, because I don't think the judges are going to mark that any better. Oh, I can smell the smoke now. The tarmac's drying out. The weather's holding off.
Have you missed it?
Yeah, do you know what? I have. It seems like it's been a long time since round 1.
Do you know, I thought that when I was driving up yesterday. I thought it feels like forever since we was at Three Sisters Race Circuit in Wigan, and we was in beautiful sunshine watching the best of the best do their thing. And I woke up this morning, it was raining, and I thought, please don't do this to me, Driftland.
Well, I woke up late this morning, saw it was raining, and thought, Mackie's on the way to cheer myself up.
You didn't buy me a Mackie D's, though?
No, I didn't even know you were here, mate.
Oh, well. There we go, averages drop in, and it will be a 0 for Kyle Handley on his second qualifying run. Too many mistakes, too many moments of understeering and straighten, and unfortunately that's not drifting. So we move it along. Oliver Baker, well, he was very, very close to a good score.
Yeah, he threw it away though, didn't he?
Dropped 2 wheels off the edge of the circuit.
But if he can hold it together, the commitment from Oliver is bang on that initiation.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's 100%. No, that was a wrong score there. It was a 0 for Oliver Baker's first qualifying run. That did show a 40.3. That was the wrong score. So it sounds like they've maybe loosened that car up a little bit. Whoa, and he's way off that qualifying now. This is not the same Oliver Baker we see earlier on. Maybe he has dialed it down. He doesn't want to go too close to the edge of the circuit. And once again, spotters would have been saying in the radio, don't go too mad, just get a good score on the board. If you double zero, it's the end of the weekend. If you score maybe a 28, a 30, you could be in the show because there's been so many double zeros.
Yeah, you have to play it carefully, you know, and, you know, it's about getting through to those battles. 2 zeros ain't going to get you there, so a safe run. And, you know, once you get through there, you can then at that point go hell for leather, can't you, in the twin battles? You know, get upon someone's door.
Yeah, you can feel a bit more confident. You know, keep doing lead and chase, lead and chase. Here we go, scores start to drop in. Good scores. As the average drops in for Oliver Baker.
58.6.
So a 58.6 there for Oliver Baker.
Exactly what he needed there, putting him in, you know, in contention there, obviously, into the battles. And fingers crossed, you never know, maybe a podium at the end of the weekend.
You never know. So
he's certainly been committed.
Up next, the last driver of this batch of drivers, and it is Lee Chambers.
So Lee currently stands on a 40.3.
Yeah, 40.3. Looking so confident in the damp weather. He said the CA18 underneath the bonnet of this S13 was just right when it was damp. He said he's not sure how it was going to contend in the dry. And there we go. Lee's worst nightmare came to fruition. And he's ended up going out on a complete dry circuit. Now he starts to find his feet, starts to find his way around the track. And Lee Chambers hammers down across the line. Will it be enough? That first part of the circuit from 1 to 2 was very, very scrappy.
Yeah, in a low-powered car like the CA18, you know, trying to break traction on a grippy tarmac surface like this, you know, on some long corners, you've got to give it so much commitment, so much. You've got to throw it in there harder than any other driver. So we'll wait to see what the scores are, but will it be better than a 40.3? I'm not so sure. Peden with a 28, James with a 30. We just wait for Rich Newton with a 25, so that average is going to drop now, 27.6.
Yep, so he doesn't better his first qualifying run. That is the first batch of drivers done and dusted. We move it along to the second batch as they make their way out onto circuit. As you said, some big names creeping in there. Marshall Godwin, Ben Mears, Luke Conti. Snapped a hub in practice earlier. Got it welded by our scrutineer.
Yep, yeah, was out there helping. Fortunate enough to have a bit of a workshop space here at Driftland. I think it was utilised to make that repair. So let's see if that holds out. But and obviously, someone that really took my fancy during practice was Gary Mitchie.
Yes.
I believe maybe a local lad. Certainly knew the circuit pretty well.
He was. Yeah, he is. I do believe he is a local lad. But once again, he was very, very good when it was in damp conditions. Up first, it will be Marcus Ty in this Nissan Skyline R32. As you can see, damage to the front of that car. Marcus Ty taking it off circuit, ended up the bank at 45 degrees.
Twice,
nearly rolled over. But he was pushing, he was finding the limits of the conditions. But now, once again, as we say, track conditions have changed. And Marcus Ty, well, has he been doing his homework? Has he been sitting watching the live stream saying, oh, I know what I need to do. I need to go fast and hard. I need to push it to the limit. And I need to just soften the car, loosen the car up a little bit. It's not going to react how it did earlier. Marcus Ty absolutely destroying the rev limiter and the judge's eardrums as he comes past the tower. Down, big wobble into outside zone 3 for Marcus Ty. Struggling a little bit with the car. You can see big clutch kick as he comes through the centre of the circuit, sacrificing those clipping points. But once again, give me another driver just looking to put a score on the board, get rid of those first qualifying run nerves.
Yeah, just really fighting the steering wheel. You can see so much steering input from Marcus Ty, just trying to get that car around the layout. So he's got another run to go. We'll wait to see what the judges say. 22 from James. We look to see what the scores from Judge Peden and Rich are.
Yep, so judges just inputting their scores into the system. They'll drop in and then we'll get the average of all 3 judges.
28 from Peden and 35 from Rich. So
Rich liked it, yeah, 28.3. Well, liked it to a degree, shall we say. Best of a bad bunch, I heard him say earlier. No, we're only joking. Marcus Ty has had enough of it today. We move it along. It will be Paul Shield in the Firefly Aero Speed Shop Nissan 350Z. Now, this car was waving at us earlier, wasn't it, Martin?
Yeah, he was.
The tailgate was flapping, and it was waving to everybody up on the banking. Oh, and a fouled initiation.
Not happy about something. Is it cut out? No.
Not sure what happened.
Certainly
Maybe
not
Paul
happy with
Shield was
something.
like, I don't want to do this. I do not want to do this.
Please don't judge me, Zero. I'm off.
Yeah, not sure what happened there to Paul Shield. Hopefully we will find out. But he made his way straight off the circuit, made his way back into the pit. Maybe the hydro failed.
Yeah, possibly. Pull
Maybe.
the wand and
Pulled
nothing
the
was
hydro,
there.
nothing happened. And he said, well, look, I'll just go straight back to the pitch, try and get it rectified, ready for my second qualifying run. So it will be a 0 to make it official. And Joe Smith now comes off the line in this S13. Second place around 1. What can he do now as Joe Smith looks strong, contender. Absolutely flying as Joe Smith just drops down from outside zone 2. Holds onto it though, dials on the angle, and you can see him just slowing the rear wheel speed down, gets back into it. Big clutch kick now as he comes for outside zone 4, looking good through the centre of the circuit. Joe Smith dancing with the edge of the track. Big clutch kick once again as he puts foot to floor. Joe Smith looking for that final outside zone. Across the line he goes.
Fair play to Joe Smith. That was not a bad run at all. Kept it nice and consistent. A little bit off on clip 2, but for someone that's gone out and done their first judged run, having experienced wet conditions today, I think that was probably the right attitude and the right thing to do. So,
yeah, it was kind of reserved enough to put on a good score on the board and do what he had to do. So yeah. Joe Smith's score starts to drop in. Peden Nielsen with a 64, James Grimsey with a 64, and what does Rich Newton put in? A 63, so a nice average dropping in there, 63.6 for Joe Smith.
So, yeah, 63%.
Well, this is your guy. This is your guy. You've got a good feeling.
I did it at round 1.
You did
I got
do it
it
at round 1.
completely wrong.
You got it so wrong.
But I'm going to go as far as saying, this could be my hero of the weekend.
Well, you've just cursed him.
Well,
you've just cursed him. So off the line, it is Gary Mitchie in this BMW E36 convertible, looking strong right now. Maybe he is the guy to contend the Pro 2 Championship at the moment. Very nice line from outside zone 3. It's Gary Mitchie looking cool, calm and collected inside the car. Look at the line through 4 as Gary Mitchie dances and even gives the drone a nice lead to try and chase down, foot flat to the floor. He's going to get to the wall perfectly timed. Well.
Well, where's my wallet? Because that's my man. That's my man. Bets are on.
If anyone wants to have a bet with Motty, he's throwing the £50 notes around up here in the commentary tower. So very nice. Very, very nice run there from Gary.
Waiting for the scores now. Waiting for the scores. That was a great run. He was perfect on that clip 2 as well. And just shows, doesn't it? You get that entry right from clip 1 to clip 2, and it will make the rest of it all natural for you.
100%. Yeah, it flows like a dream. It just washes around the circuit.
Do you know what else I'm fond of? He's doing it in an E36 cab.
He is. Look at this. Nice score dropping in. Will this take top place in qualifying at the moment? 82.6, it does.
Yes.
Yeah, Gary Mitchie takes top spot in qualifying at the moment on his first qualifying run of the day.
He's getting a star next to his
name
for me.
Yeah, but listen, he could be contended. This young man was flying earlier on in practice. It is Matt Walker in this V8 S14. And Matt Walker was absolutely on it in practice. Can he bring it through into qualifying? Nice initiation. He's going to go wide. He's gone too wide. Showers the judges in gravel. Has to back out of it as Matt Walker now finds his feet once again, gets himself back on that qualifying line. A sudden rush of blood to the head as he dances on the foot brake to keep that car on angle across the line. Judges won't have liked that last section of the track either, but was that 1 or 2 wheels off track, they would have had a keen eye.
Wow. Definitely, it's got it. I mean,
well, they're talking about it. Is it 1 or 2? That's what they're trying to say.
I'm interested to find out, because obviously, the score-wise, even if he just gets a score on the board, that's going to do him well for obviously getting into the battles. But I suspect that on run 2, he's found the grip now. He knows what the grip levels are on the track, and we'll wait and see. But Rich with a 63, Peter with a 54, and we wait for our Judge James. With anticipation, 66. So a 61 that puts him in contention.
Yeah, nice first qualifying run there, and he knows the limit of the circuit. Back to the start line we go. It's Damien Murphy. Sits on the line in his BMW E36 Touring. So away he comes. A little puff of smoke from the external wastegate that exits out of the front wing. He handbrake drag as he puts the long back end of that BMW up onto the wall, and you can see him shallow off the angle there, trying to adjust his line, trying to get out to outside zone 2. And that's really upset him now. He's going to struggle for 3 and 4. And there we go, he's going to be bang on the inside of the circuit. Getting to outside zone 5, not so hard because you can get it on the transition, on the flick. And 6, once again, completely missed there. Scrappy run.
The car seems very snappy and not fluid when he's transitioning.
Yes.
He's obviously got the car set up to sort of suit his driving style, but the judge want that smooth, fluid run through all those clippings.
Well, look, we're whittling these guys down to give us the perfect lead line. First place qualifier will be the perfect lead line. So it's what the judge is looking for, you know, as we explained in that virtual run. Scores dropping in, an average of 32 there for Damon Murphy.
32.
Paul Howell up next.
Another one to watch this weekend.
Another one to watch. Well, I don't want to curse him, but he was looking absolutely brilliant in practice earlier on. Said the car was working, he was feeling confident. What can Paul Howell do? Comes through the gears. Yeah, again, another E36 BMW Touring. Nice job on the outside zone 1 up onto the wall. A little bit tentative though, you can see him dabbing the handbrake there, slowed the rear wheels of the car down. That pulled the car away from that outside zone, and that's pulled him off that qualifying line. All wheels on the inside, just one wheel though. Oh, and a straighten. So Paul Howell looked so confident earlier on in the wet, and now struggling to find his feet.
I think it's going to all be down to run 2 for 0. Yep, too far off track, and that big straighten. So a 0 for Paul Howell, but I've got high hopes for him on his second run.
Yeah.
Harry Archer.
Yes.
The man of the moment at round 1. Won round 1 at Three Sisters. But has he got what it takes to keep that crown here at round 2 at Driftland?
Well, we're about to find out through the gears. He comes in that little turbo MX-5. As you can hear him already on the rev limiter. Harry Archer almost gets outside zone 2. Realistically, all he needs to do, get himself a nice little run on the board here, a nice score in qualifying. And battles is really where Harry Archer comes alive. He manages to get that MX-5 in places that no one knew it could go. Harry Archer foot flat to the floor as he pings the car off the rev limiter and across the line. Look, he puts it in the bag. He puts one in the bag. That's all that matters right now.
That was probably one of the
his championship is
today,
hanging on these qualifying runs.
I'm telling you. Do you know, he just seems to pull it out of the bag at the right moment. During practice, he was a little bit inconsistent for me, and I was starting to think, but that wasn't a bad run, Alex. Obviously, the scores will come in now from the judges, a 60 from Peden, 62, and a 59 from James, so the average of 60.3 is not bad.
Not bad there for Harry Archer. Gets himself in the show later on today. Back to the line, John Gordon now. John really struggling with this car today in practice. Up and down, sound like it was misfiring at certain parts, and to me, struggled with understeer from what it looked like up here in the tower. Every time he initiated, the front tyres of the car they said no. They said they didn't want to do that today. He's gone for a very wild initiation, fired that car in on outside zone 1. He's carrying a lot of speed through and down the hill, and you can see the steering corrections there as he makes his way in to outside zone 3, finds himself on the inside of the circuit, dangles the back end of the back bumper into the outside zone 4 and 5. You see that undulation in the track as the car bounces around, hangs the spoiler towards the wall and across the line, and again another driver just trying to put a score on the board.
Absolutely, that's what they need to do really at round 2 here. A few drivers have been struggling, and few with double zeros on both runs, so it's open for anybody really at the moment.
It is open for anyone at the moment, but we do know that right at this moment in time, Gary Mitchie does take top spot in qualifying, first place qualifier. So there we go, scores drop in for John Gordon.
38 from Peden, a 40 from Rich Newton, and James with a 42, so the average comes in at a bang on 40.
40 for Mr. John Gordon. Back down to the start line we go, and it is going to be Marshall Goodwin, sorry. Again, in a Firefly Aero Nissan 350Z. Not so much fortune for his teammate, had to take that car straight off the escape road and back into the paddock. Can Marshall make it happen? Slow, tentative initiation. Manages to stick it up onto the wall. See the marks on that back bumper. Very tidy line there for Marshall Goodwin. Oh, just dialed on a little bit too much angle there for outside zone 3. Needs to let the car, you know, wash down into 3, then start firing the angle on the transition. Nicely done. Comes past the judging tower, hammers down, looks for the wall. He's going to go nice and wide. A little bit too early to the wall, but makes it work.
Makes it work, yeah, and making it round there, not so bad. I think, you know, that's exactly what you've got to do, is a safe first run. I think, you know, finding his feet, all to play for in his second. He can go hell for leather if you've got scores on the board. So we'll wait and see. A high score from Peden there with a 73.
I can hear him arguing about it. They're arguing. Can you hear him?
A 60 with Rich.
So we go.
62 with James. So a score of 65.
Yep, so the average of 65 there for Marshall Goodwin. And he notices straight away, he's like, I'm on camera.
I am
on camera.
Later.
Dan Martin of Dan Martin Media will not let him ever live that down. Off the line comes Ben Mears. You can't miss him in this luminescent yellow S14 as Ben Mears goes for a big initiation. Shallows up the angle as he initiates onto the wall. And very thoughtful driving right now from Ben Mears. You can see him dabbing that foot brake, little dab of the handbrake as he comes through the outside zone. Ben Mears will know, would have watched, listened to the spotters and said, this is just a battle to the end at the moment. Can we get a score on the board? And with that run, I should think they can.
Yep, I'd like to think so. I'll wait for the scores to come in, but I won't tap my pencil on my board.
Yeah, stop tapping your pen. You get told off again.
That. Yeah,
And now your microphone's got something hanging on it, and
I'm
you're
just in trouble today.
You're just in a right state today.
Rebel. I might have a sip of Cavonia in a minute.
Really, you know, blow the doors off.
Anticipation for the battles later on. So a 62.6 for Ben Mears.
Yep.
Joel Conlon come up next.
Yeah, Mr. Conlon in this all-black 350Z stealthy, like the Batmobile. Took a headlight out.
Batman went drifting.
If Batman went drifting. Would he have a black 350Z?
Possibly.
Possibly. So Joel Conlon through the gears. There's very little weight. Shift transition on the initiation. Starting to hold it together though, looking good right now. As Joel, you know, just couldn't get into it early enough. I think he struggled for the downshift. I think that was what, you know, come down the hill, looking for second gear, waited too long. Car reacted and straightened up. That's going to hurt his score.
We'll wait to see what the judges score on that. What their take is on it, whether it was a straighten that saw a 0 or whether there's some scores on the board for Joel Conlon.
Oh, look at that. Judge is not liking it. Straightens a straighten, Motty. Straightens not drifting.
Very experienced judging panel we've got, though, you know, and if that's what
multiple years,
multiple, we're talking, you know,
decades,
longer than I've lived.
Up next, Harry Hudson in the Retro Speed Shop, Toyota Corolla A86, and this man, he was doing the no rain dance earlier on, because every single time Harry Hudson threw this car in up onto the wall, he put a spin in. He said, I just cannot get grip into the back of this car. He will be absolutely over the moon that it's dry right now. Hudson looking wide, looks for the outside line. Oh, four-wheel lock-up. Can he hold on to it? Oh, he just about does. Judges would be taking points off his score, though. I think he got a little bit too excited there, did Harry Hudson, as he come down the hill. Full tilt, dials on the angle, looks for outside zone 6 and across the line.
Yeah, judges are all over these drivers this weekend, making sure that they don't put a foot out of line. They want to see absolute perfection, and for every moment that they don't, they get marked down. And that straight there, it was a severe straight.
They are, listen,
they had no nonsense.
Let me tell you, this weekend they ain't messing around.
Nah. Nope. So next up is Callum Payne.
Yeah, Callum Payne snapped to hub. Was it Callum Payne or Luke Conti that snapped to hub earlier on?
I think it was Callum Payne, yeah. I think it was Callum Payne. So he's going to go into the first corner. Maybe a little bit nervous knowing that repair's been taking place, but he's got to throw it in.
Yeah, Callum Payne. This car, very, very nice. Looks almost too clean to be out on circuit drifting right now, but looking scrappy as he comes down his outside zone 3, trying to find his feet once again. As you say, took some damage on that car earlier on in practice. He just needs to find the confidence once again as Callum Payne hammers down across the line.
So wait to see some points. I mean, like you say, you know, when you've all of a sudden broken a hub and you weld it up, you know, in a moment of let's get ourselves back out there.
I can't remember if it was Luke Conti or Callum Payne.
I'm pretty certain it was Callum Payne, if I remember rightly. But because I think he had a collision with Amy Hill, if you remember rightly.
Ames, yeah, that's right.
But yeah, when you're struggling there and you've got no alignment now because you've just welded a hub, like not
it could
bad,
be all
really.
knocked out, yeah. Of course, we look for an average to drop in here for Callum Payne. There we go, a 40.6 on his first qualifying run. He'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I think
he'll be happy with that, I think. Probably counted himself out of the fight earlier on when he broke the car. We'll move it to the final driver of this group of drivers, and it is, of course, Luke Conti in this Nissan 206 S14. Luke, another driver struggling with the wet weather now. Well, we've given you the dry track. What can you do with it, Luke? Comes in, tentative initiation. You can see the back end of that car squatting as he's on and off throttle. You can see the smoke trail just start to disappear as he comes off the throttle to let the car wash out to outside zone 2. Makes a nice tidy run down into 3. Holds this one together as he transitions into outside zone 5. Foot to the floor now. Last turn, last clipping point. You can hear the external wastegate screaming on the rev limiter as he comes across the line.
So completing a full run there, so he'll get some points on the score sheet. So that is completion now of all drivers with their first judged run from this second batch, and we'll move on to running the guys again on their second run. Some of the guys scoring zeros, they've got everything to kind of put it out there, but a score of 49 for Luke Conte.
Yeah, 49 for Luke Conti. We go back to the start line to Marcus Ty in his Nissan Skyline. A 28.3 on his first qualifying run.
So yeah, he's been struggling with the car a little bit. Lots of steering.
Well, I mean, look, he parked it at 45 degrees on the bank earlier, so I think you'd be struggling to drive in a straight line as well.
Possibly.
Let alone sideways, at speed, at a concrete wall.
Yeah.
Trying to qualify against 30-plus other drivers. Marcus Ty, though, he's not scared. He's going to fire it in. And Marcus Ty said there's nothing left on this car for me not to damage. He's going to go very wide off big four-wheel slide as he comes down the hill. And this one's starting to fall apart right now for Marcus Ty as he flicks it back in that Skyline towards the outside zone. And the car not reacting. You can see pushing on massively as he once again takes a trip to the bank.
Just understeering that car. Came so angry as well.
And that is a very, very angry Marcus Ty.
Very, very, very angry. He'll be disappointed himself behind
but
the
he's
wheel
still got a 28.3.
Yeah,
that could be enough to get him into the show later on. So he could have broke the car then for nothing. Just for pure rage. Rage.
These cars get abused at times.
They certainly do. Well, Paul Schill now, he's on the start line, ready to go for his second qualifying run. A very strange initiation. Didn't initiate, and then just drove straight off track. Was it a hydraulic handbrake problem? We are about to find out. I do believe these cars doing double duty this weekend. We'll tell you more about that later on. Now he gets himself into it. Hydro working. As Paul Schill looks to avoid that inside curb, comes down for outside zone 3, just tickles the edge of the box with the rear wheel. As Paul Schill completely sacrifices outside zone 4. And he'll be thankful that he's making it round right now. Big clutch kicks on and off the throttle. Massive adjustments on both the steering and the throttle, but he gets it done.
So, points.
Points make prizes.
Well, fingers crossed for some of these drivers this weekend. They'll be on the podium.
Well, I can guarantee that there'll be one man on the podium.
Yep, I can guarantee
that'll be me.
3 of them.
I'll be at the podium.
4 of them.
4, 5. To go, averages start to drop in now for Paul Schill. on the computer just having a bit of a moment.
Long way.
There we go, 30.6. 30.6. Yeah, the computer just having a moment. It's saying you need to slow down. We were steaming through these earlier on. So Joe Smith now sits on the line. What was his first
63.6.
63.6. So a 63.6 for Joe Smith on his first qualifying run. This man second on the podium at round one. He'll be looking for a little bit of a,
consistency.
A bit of consistency, get himself up into that top four. If he can get on the podium once again. And we don't see Aaron Grantham up there. Did he just take his hand off the wheel and wave to his friends? Because that is astonishing. What a line from 1 to 2 from Joe Smith. He's really coming alive now. Oh, that was a little bit too much angle at it. And sacrifices outside zone 3. And that's going to hurt 4. But he just flicks the back end of that S13 over that clipping point box, painted on the circuit. Joe Smith, you can see him working the steering wheel, looks for the wall, and across the line Joe Smith goes.
And the judges acknowledging that. So clearly we're expecting some decent scores from that. A little bit off one of those clips, like you say, but that entry was brilliant through
it was really nice. The line from 1 to 2 was very, very nice. He's going to be rewarded from this.
67 from our judge Peden, 66 from Rich, and a 65 from James. So a 66 total.
So a 66, he does improve.
Just improving, yeah.
But still up there, leading the qualifying at the moment is this young man, Gary Amici, in this BMW E36 convertible.
He's having it in the 90s.
In the 90s?
I'm putting it out there.
I think you've just cursed him massively.
Oh, let's hope not. An 82.67 off his first run.
So there we go, he comes off the line and gets the thumbs up. What could he do right now as Gary Amici looks to beat the highest qualifying score so far? Nice initiation into outside zone 1. Look at the line, super high and wide. Very nice throttle control all the way down the hill he goes. He's going to have a nice line into 3. This is looking good. Away from that inside of the circuit. It's going to be deep on 4. Very, very good job from Michi right now. As you can see him in the car leaning across, looking out the side glass of the window, and he says, I'm coming for the wall. And he goes close to the wall and across the line, and the judges liking that one. Well. Well.
Are you ready for that score now, Ian?
Are you ready for the score now?
Are you ready for the score? I don't
know if it's a 90s.
Put my money where my mouth was before.
I don't know if it's a 90s. It'll be a high 80s in my books.
Oh, 83. Peter, what are you doing to me?
What are you doing to me?
Rich, 87. Come on, James. And an 84, so what's the average? Is it going to better? An 82.67. It does. An 84.67. Still top qualifier as it stands.
So there we go, but can this young man take him down? Matt Walker, a 61 in his first qualifying run. I said earlier on, these two guys were twinning in practice a lot. Gary Amici and Matt Walker were out on track quite a lot. A 61 on his first qualifying run.
Yeah, he just had a little correction, Matt.
A little correction.
If he can get over that, if he can overcome it.
Bit more commitment, iron that correction out. What has he got? Comes screaming off the line. No messing around through the gears. Big flick. Up onto the wall he goes. But he's going to just catch the outside edge of outside zone 2, looks down the hill he comes into 3, just not on deep onto the clipping points as what Michi was, and you can see that right there on outside zone 4. Into it once again goes Matt Walker, stands on the accelerator, takes the back end of the S14 to the wall.
Don't think it's going to be enough to take top qualification, but we'll have to wait and see what the judges say. Like you say, slightly off on some of those clips.
Yeah, just wasn't the perfect line. Michi was very committed into those outside zones. And
question is, will he improve on a 61? And I'd like to think that he will from that run. But we're no judges.
No.
74 from Peter, a 78 from Rich, and a 72 from James. So he's definitely going to improve with an average of 74.67.
So there we go. He does improve, moves himself into 3rd or 4th place at the moment in qualifying. We go back to the line. It's Damon Murphy.
3rd place in qualifying, yep. So currently top qualifier Gary Michi, followed by Aaron Grantham in 2nd, and then, like you say, Matt Walker in 3rd.
There we go. Stacking up right now are these drivers looking for a heated top 32 later on this afternoon. Through the gears comes Damon Murphy. Looks a lot more committed this time as he goes very deep into outside zone 2. Always carrying a lot of speed, dials the angle on. That's going to sacrifice the line. Can he make it work? No, he just can't get the car there. Just couldn't work it into that outside zone, but now starts to find himself back on that qualifying line as Damon Murphy drives through a little bit of a misfire in front of the judging tower, clicks the clutch. He sacrifices outside zone 6.
Well, it was a very strong commitment into the first corner through clip 2, but like you say, he was just carrying so much speed he had to scrub. It just put him offline when making it to clip 3. So scores are coming in now. Peden with a 68.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. It had impact.
Yeah,
it had impact because he was committed. He was full send, no messing around. 32 on his first qualifying run. This is definitely going to be an improvement. Look at that. James agrees. And what does Mr. Rich Newton say?
And a 62 from Rich. So we see an average of 66.
66 dead there for Damon Murphy. And we go back to the start line to Paul Howe, who currently sits on a 0. Looking so consistent.
So a 0 in the first run. He needs to pull something out of the bag.
He certainly does. He was looking so consistent in practice earlier on. It would just
agree,
I wouldn't have even counted him out of the fight today. I thought he was going to be a contender for a top 4 finish at least. Can he get it together now? Looks like they've loosened the back end of that BMW up, and they certainly have. They took a lot of grip out of it, and you can see Paul Howe, no messing around. He says, I've got one chance to get this done. Sacrifices a little bit of outside zone 3 there. And he's going to set himself up nicely for 4, though, on the transition. Back, big flick. Can he hold on to it? Just about, as Paul Howe dances with the devil on the last run of the day.
I literally, I had in my mouth then at that point. I thought he was going to throw it in a circle, but he didn't. He kept it on track and he kept the drift flowing. A little bit of a strange one there, but, you know, as long as he gets those scores, that is all that matters today. Because, like you say, he was great in the twin
Unbelievable.
practice.
Unbelievable in the wet practice. And even when it started to get patchy, he was still absolutely dialed. Good score coming in for Paul Howe. As a nice average drops in.
65.6.
I mean, I've got told off as well for the pronunciation of Gary. It's not Mitchie, it's Mikey.
Oh, our apologies.
Our apologies, Darryl Taylor.
I mean, surely we get a little bit of
we get a little bit.
We
get a little bit.
Well, listen, my favourite of the weekend.
We go back to the start line, and this counts right now for Harry Archer. 60.3. He's got himself in the fight. Can he prove why he was the winner at round 1? He's come firing down onto the wall, back end of the car, onto the wall. Oh, you could just see that car just not got the pace, not got the power as he fires down, just about holds it on the edge of the circuit. Right now, as Harry Archer comes to make a statement, can he hold on to the championship? He's hungry for it. He's got everything at his disposal right now. Can he keep a hold of it? Look at that. Incredible.
I mean, 100 points for commitment, you know. He is wringing the neck out of that MX-5. Could you imagine if he turned up in a JZ S13 or something?
Dangerous. That's what it'd be. Dangerous.
Absolutely. Oh, well, I'll tell you what, look.
So we got it wrong again. It's not Mikey, it's Mickey.
Oh,
like Mickey Mouse.
Honestly, well, you keep feeding me wrong information.
Gary Mickey.
I'm just going to call him Gary.
Right, average to start dropping in now for Harry Archer.
72.
Oh, Rich Newton like that one. Commitment. He likes an underdog.
We wait, James, at a 74.
Oh, wow, Peden Nielsen, though.
71.
Wasn't impressed. 71.3. Nice score there for Harry Archer.
He's giving it some Harry this weekend. He's, like you say, he's got a lot to lose, you know, currently, you know, leading the points. Yeah, so.
Back to the start line, John Goulden, a 40 on his first qualifying run. Enough to get himself into the show. Nice commitment. Just didn't let the car flow out to that outside line from 1 to 2. Maybe dialed a little bit too much grip into it. As soon as he got on the throttle, it pulled him away. Big clutch kick on the initiation. He's done it again, though. Going to find himself way off that outside zone. There he is, middle of the track. Now he's going to struggle to get to outside zone 3. He's going to drop 2 wheels off the edge of the circuit. And luckily, never DB'd a tyre on that little off-road expedition. And across the line goes John Goulden, and from where I'm sitting, that looks like a 0 because that was 2 wheels off track, and there we go.
Definitely, I thought so, but 0 coming in, so he's going to be relying on that score of 40 to get into the mix from his first run, and I'm sure that bumper's already been recovered by one of our marshals out there, so they'll hand that back to him, and I'm sure he'll exit with that and get that back on ready for the show.
Get that back on, ready to rock and roll, go back to the start line. It will be Marshall Goodwin.
Score of 65, currently on run 1. Can he better that this time? The Firefly Aero team will be backing him on this one.
Yeah, it was a quite nice first qualifying run. Can he improve? A little tentative on the initiation. Would have liked to have seen a bit more aggression, but he's definitely got a nice line from 1 to 2 as he comes down the hill. Look at that smoke trail, consistent, but he's just pulled himself away from outside zone 3. That's going to hurt his score. Gets himself back on that qualifying line as he fires in to outside zone 5. He looks for the wall, looks for that first and 6th clipping point. Just shy of the wall, ever so slightly there, is Marshall Goodwin.
Well, I think he would have scored high points for obviously the entry in clip 2, but like you say, just lacking a little bit maybe a power to just push it out to clip 3. But overall, that wasn't a bad run, you know.
No, it wasn't a bad run. We're just being very critical today, as always.
We are, and we can only commentate on what we see. But
exactly that.
The guys here, you know, judging it, Peden with a 64. Rich and James will just wait for their scores to come in. They've got all of the experience. They're looking for the smallest of errors, and they will be, you know, harsh on these guys because they want to see great driving. And you know, Rich with a score of 70 there, and James with a 63. So the average will come in a 65.67. So pretty consistent at 65 prior on run 1 and a 65.67 on run 2. So yeah, not bad scores.
No, Ben Mears now gets the thumbs up from across the track. A 62.6 on his first qualifying run. Ben Mears, well, you couldn't miss him, could you?
No, absolutely not.
You couldn't miss him.
I've had to put my glasses on just so, you know.
They're the same. Your glasses are the same colour as his car, though. Ben Mears through the gears, smashing down into outside zone 1 and smashing the rev limit. Oh! And a very good save from Ben Mears, because as you can see, that telehandler has a camera operator on it, which is that camera right now.
And that's why he's probably shaking, as you know, right now.
I think the camera operator's got a
harness on, yeah.
Got a parachute on his back, ready to jump off. So it will be a 0 there for Ben Mears. Not sure what happened with that car. Hopefully he can get it fixed. With a 62.6 on the board, he should find himself into the show. Joel Conlon now on the start line with a 0.
So 4 more drivers to take place. Start line are ready to send Joel Conlon on his way, and he's going to fire it into that first corner.
Here down he comes, little faint initiation, fires that car across the track, hammers down the throttle, very tidy line from outside zone 1 to 2. Just didn't catch didn't have the pace, didn't let the car wash outside zone 3. Manages to catch the edge of the box of outside zone 4 now as he transitions back. And Joel Conlon, who's currently set on a 0, looking a lot more confident right now.
Yeah, so relatively tidy run there. Just like you say, it was these 350s just seem to struggle a little bit on that clip 3, you know, like whether it's just power or grip or, you know, S-bodies are obviously renowned for being probably the perfect choice of a vehicle for
of course.
A drifter and a driver. But Peter with a 60, Rich with a 58, and James agreeing, a score of 58 and an average of 58.67. So that's a good score for Joel, who had a 0 on his first run.
Yeah, the last 0 driver of the day is Harry Hudson, so he sits on a 0. And judges saying that prolonged amount of straightening, no good, not what they wanted to see. So Harry Hudson, well, he wanted the dry weather. What can he do with it as he comes screaming down? Absolutely lit is Harry Hudson. Oh, but he sacrifices outside zone 1. He's going to sacrifice outside zone 2 now. And has Harry Hudson just gone for a run? Has he just gone to get some points on the board? He's not going to go all out. He's saying, I just need to get a score. Get me in that top 32. I can battle my way to the podium, but you can't win qualifying at the moment.
If only he was just to initiate that little bit later on clip 1, he's got the right line. He's just a distance away from those clipping points. But yeah, we'll wait to see what the judges say. And obviously completing a run no 0 this time, so there will be a score, and that hopefully will see him into the battles later on today, which I am looking forward to. I'm trying to I always do this. I always try to work out who might go up against who.
Yeah, you can't do that. You
I'm
have to wait.
A little bit, I'm not patient enough.
You have to wait till we get the info. There
so
we go.
53.3.
Yeah, so he gets himself a score on the board and into the fight later on this afternoon. Last 2 drivers coming up. Callum Payne first in this beautiful S14. Callum Payne. Look at him looking, staring down our start line, Marshall Dale. Gives him a nod, gets the thumbs up, and away he comes. Callum Payne, a 40.6 on his first run. Drone tags along for the ride as he fires in. Callum Payne looking a lot more consistent now. Oh, he's very wide. This is looking very good from Callum Payne. Down into outside zone 3. He's going for a good score. He's going for this one. He knows what he needs to do. Look at how deep he is in outside zone 4. Consistency could be the key. And Callum Payne searches for the outside zone, up to the wall. Nicely done from Callum Payne.
Making a statement there, making a statement. So we'll wait to see what the scores come in. Is it going to be enough to take out someone like Gary Mickey? I don't really think it will, but like it was a good score, and I certainly think it'll put him there in the sort of top end of the field. So 68 from Peden, a 70 from James, and a 68 from Rich.
Yes, so there we go.
68.6, so improving his run quite considerably there, you know, from a 40.6.
Yeah, a nice jump up the board for Callum Payne. And the final driver of our Pro 2 qualifying session is here. It is, of course, Luke Conti. And Luke scoring a 49 in his first qualifying run. What can he do as he comes over the brow of the hill, looks for that first outside zone and sacrifices it. Oh, catches a whole load of understeer. Does Luke Conti, gets himself back into it, commits down the hill to outside zone 3. And that car just not looking happy today as Conti avoids going 2 wheels off the edge of the track where that cone is. And this scrappy, you can see the steering inputs from Luke Conti. He's not happy with this, but he gets the job done and finishes up qualifying here at Pro 2, round 2 of the UK Drift Championship.
Yep, so we'll just wait for the scores to come in, and then obviously it'll be down to the battles a little bit later on. So Luke Conti, the final driver of this qualification series.
So yeah, we await for our final score to drop in. And I don't know if it's going to be an improvement.
37 from Peden, 47 from Rich, and a 40 from James, giving a 41.3 average.
So there we go. That's the final qualifying run done here for our Pro 2 competition. And before we leave, we'd just like to say a massive thank you to our sponsors: Control, Asnu, Driven Racing Oil, Corbeau Seats, Funk Motorsport, Fast Start, Dorenza, Garage D, and Hell Performance. Without those guys, you guys wouldn't be able to sit at home and listen to our wonderful voices all the way from Bonnie, Scotland. Motty, that is it. Qualifying is done. We'll post up the battles on our Facebook page, so keep your eyes peeled there on the UK Drift Championship Facebook page. We'll be back at 3 o'clock with more action live here from Driftland, Europe's only purpose-built drift circuit in Logelly. For our Pro 2 competition, we're going 32 down to 1. Who's going to take it? Can Harry Archer keep the crown, or will he get knocked off the top step? We'll find out later on this afternoon. From me and Motty, we'll see you very soon.
We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
horsepower, less wear, better performance. Introducing new GP1 high-performance driven racing oil, developed specifically for competition, classic, and import vehicle applications.